Good morning, everybody. How we doing, Luke? I'm here with Luke. Gonna talk to him about his love of sports and kind of what he did in his past and how it led him to what his love is today. So, how are we doing this morning, Luke?
Not too bad. How about you?
Doing well. Getting ready to get in the semester.
Oh, I can't wait. First year is almost done.
Yeah, and
Pretty fast.
How was the first year here?
Yeah, it was really fun. You know, I wouldn't change a thing that happened. You know, I met great people, got great grades. You know,
a lot of good teachers.
A lot of good teachers. Like Jen, fantastic. Yeah. Just off the top of the head.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to do that.
That's a pretty good teacher right there.
So first off, I just want to talk about where you grew up. I know you said you live in Minnesota.
I live in Minnesota. I'm from Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. I went to Simley High School.
Okay.
I graduated last year.
So what kind of sports did you play growing up?
Growing up, I played baseball, basketball, and football.
Okay.
My favorite sport happened to be baseball. I played that one all throughout high school. Football and basketball I played up until 9th grade. And just decided to cut it out after that because, you know, I just... there's really only one sport that I really enjoyed playing, and that's baseball, and that's been something that's been close to me since I was a little kid.
What were your influences growing up playing all those sports?
Playing all those sports, I'd have to say growing up, my dad was a huge influence on it because... You know, he was the one that would sign you up for it. He would ask he'd ask us every year, is there something you want to do? And if you do it, you got to stick to it, and you have to do it the whole season. Yeah, because you can't just sign up and quit. You're not going to do that. So, I'd say he was the biggest influence on it. And you know, going all the way through high school, you know, as baseball became more progressively what I really wanted to do and what I really wanted to play, he was 100% behind it, and I felt like that was something that was really important to me, that I had a backbone like that that could really support me for it.
Did he play those sports growing up, and that's how he got you? Like, because a lot of people, when you're a kid, you don't know what you're doing. Your parents just signed up to do stuff. Did he have you do like other things, or were those the three sports that he had you do because he played them?
No, well, he played those three sports growing up as well, but I mean, I was open to try anything. I tried wrestling, I tried swimming, I tried track, you know, I tried all these other things in middle school as well.
When you're younger, you do a lot of
When you're young, you just do them just because they're fun. You know, try everything, you know, tennis, even golf, you know, the list goes on and on. But I think, you know, ultimately it's just what it cut down to was the three main sports that, you know, we grew up liking to play in the house and liking to watch on TV and, you know, what we just loved to do the most. And, you know, he was probably the biggest influence I had for that. So
I'm going to do a three-parter here. I'm going to start with so we'll leave baseball for the last because it's your favorite. So you said you did basketball and
football.
Okay, so start with football. Growing up, who was your football idol, and who was like your team?
Oh, my team. My football idol definitely growing up was Barry Sanders. I loved,
running back.
Loved Barry Sanders. I loved to just watch him.
Lions and oof.
Loved to just watch him. I would go on YouTube and I would just watch his highlights. I would just watch him run around, you know, as fast as he could. And you know, I played running back as well, so it was fun to see. You know, he would just take the ball, and he had like no offensive line, so he'd just take it and he'd just run around with it and score a touchdown. He was like you know, like a cartoon character almost, like no one could catch him. You know, like trying to like catch a chicken and a coop.
Like the Adrian Peterson, but for that generation.
Like the generation before. Like, that was the Adrian Peterson. It was just he would just run around people, and he was so fast. And I'd say that Barry Sanders was definitely my biggest influence. Team wise, my dad was born in California. He was born in Los Angeles and in Huntington Beach. Yeah. And when he was born, during that time, the Los Angeles had a team with the LA Rams, like in Roman Gabriel and you know, the big four on the defensive line, and you know, he loved the Rams. Ultimately, so and then you know they moved to St. Louis.
So did he stick with them or not?
He stuck with them. Okay. So he kind of brought that over to us.
Okay.
And so that's the kind of team like that I fell in love with too. So
you like the Rams?
I love the Rams.
My cousin's a big Rams fan.
Really?
That's funny. Yeah. So where do you stand with the Vikings?
With the Vikings, to be honest, it was kind of an anti-Viking household. My dad did not like the Vikings at all. He did like the Packers and like Brett Favre and stuff like that, but the Vikings, he did not enjoy it. He just didn't like. Yeah. He didn't really like a lot of Minnesota sports teams other than like the Twins. He did love the Twins, but and he loved the Timberwolves. I guess he just was anti-Viking all the way, probably because you know in those 60s years they became the Rams.
So I
think ultimately kind of led up to like he just doesn't like them. So
basketball. What team and player?
Team and player. Team easily the Lakers.
Again,
LA. Player easy, Kobe Bryant, Will Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor, Jerry West. You know, that's basically it was basically the forte that I grew up with, like that. You know, Shaquille O'Neal. Like we would go back. We would watch the 2000 NBA Finals, the 2000, 2001, 2002, when they were three-peated. You know, we would go back. We would watch the whole thing. We loved watching highlights of it and stuff like that. We loved watching Kobe Bryant run up and down the court and score points. And, you know, we wanted to idolize him. Yeah, and his heyday when he could jump. You know,
when he could jump and not get hurt.
His knees were, you know, pieces of paper. It was fun to watch stuff like that and to see him be successful and just win. You know. So,
because the NBA Finals right now, or NBA playoffs right now, do you think there's a lot of like, okay, so now a current team and player, who do you think that you like in basketball?
My favorite.
So do you still follow? I guess do you still follow the Lakers?
I still follow the Lakers. Okay. I follow NBA, NFL. I follow baseball as well. I follow it to as best as I can. But I think that my favorite player in the NBA right now is James Harden. I feel like he's just like one of the utmost. Like he's one of the.
So you like James Harden, Rockets?
Yes, I like the Rockets. I like the Rockets' chances to win it, but I love James Harden. I feel like that little lefty he can shoot and he can jump and he can dunk for like. He's kind of a small dude. He's 6'3", but he's not the biggest build. Yeah, it's impressive what he can do and watching him play.
What do you think about Steph Curry just winning the MVP?
I think it's well deserved. I thought it should have gone James. To be honest, you know, people could
make a case James Harden or LeBron James?
No, James Harden.
Okay.
People could make a case for Russell Westbrook as well, but I feel like Steph Curry deserved it. He had a great year. He led his team. You know, without him, he was the backbone to that team. So
yeah, him and his splash brother.
Him and his splash brother, Klay Thompson. You know, they were definitely. You know, they wouldn't have gotten that far without him. So I think that's well-deserved MVP.
Now, I'm gonna totally kind of maybe put an argument here. A lot of people think that LeBron James. I'm a big LeBron fan. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people think LeBron James should always be in contention for an MVP. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's true?
I think that's true. I think he's the best player in the NBA.
So, okay, so if you say that, then why don't people vote in the best player in the NBA?
I know that contradicts what I'm saying, but like, you know, with Steph Curry just having a better season, I think.
I get you.
To be honest, I think the NBA kind of revolves around LeBron. Mm-hmm. He's the best player. He goes to any team and he can make them a contender.
Well, and that's the thing about it. Like the MVP is a player that is the most effective on your team. So you look at pre-Miami Heat. I mean, they had that championship 2008 with Dwayne Wade. But then when he comes in 2010, and he brings them to the finals every year, and then wins 2 of them. Yeah. And then when he leaves, he doesn't make the playoffs. Yeah, but then he comes to the Cavs, and boom, first year he's a 2 seed, and he's playoffs. Probably, I mean, bar anything, he would probably go to the finals this year again. Mm-hmm. So I just like when people say, LeBron James, no, he shouldn't. Well, I mean, that's the definition of MVP, isn't it?
Yeah, when you come to a team and you make an impact like that, I think that every year he probably should be in contention. Yeah. To be honest, because like I said, it revolves around him. He's the most athletic player. He's probably the best player that I've seen. Yeah. To be honest, he's just a freak of nature, and I think that he should always be in contention for it. Yeah. Because any team he goes to, he could affect that way. I just feel like maybe. You know, someone was going to have just a better season. If someone has even a slightly better season, they just don't want to give them MVP.
Well, I know a lot of the voters get kind of like voter lag or whatever it's called. Where they don't want to pick it to them anymore. But I mean, you can't when you have a stellar season like you do, and when you come in and you have that much of an impact. I don't think that's not fair to like say, no time for LeBron. No, I just wanted to get your opinion on it because I like to listen to ESPN. And I have my opinion on it, so. Okay, so let's switch turns to baseball. Mm-hmm. Favorite team and player?
Favorite team, like shocker, I like the Dodgers.
Okay.
The LA Dodgers. I'm a big Clayton Kershaw fan.
Yeah,
grew up watching him like right away. I mean, from 2008 on, like I could tell right away. Like my brother even pointed it out. He's like, I gotta watch this kid because he's gonna be good. And he was only 20 at that time. Yeah. He was still pitching in the MLB, and I like to make comparisons to him to Sandy Koufax, who was another Dodger pitcher. He was a lefty, and by the time Sandy Koufax was 30, he had 3 Cy Young Awards and an MVP. Clayton Kershaw was only 26, I think, maybe 27. Yeah. He has the exact same things. He has 3 Cy Youngs and an MVP. Almost the same player, just different eras. Yeah. Maybe slightly different statistics based on what baseball was like back in the 60s as compared to now. But I feel like he is probably the pinnacle of what it means to be a great pitcher in the MLB. And I feel like
so a lot of people are comparing him and Madison Bumgarner. Mm-hmm. Kind of Madison won the World Series last year.
Clayton World Series MVP last year.
Yeah, so I mean, those two, they're big guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, those guys are huge. Yeah. And I don't know if when you said compared to the '60s to now. I mean, the '60s it was a lot of small people. I mean, you had your standouts, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa when he got bigger, but now it's just a lot of big people. Yeah. Do you think that's Do you think anything has to do with that, or are people just working out more?
I definitely feel like, in the 90s, there were the people, like, if you want to compare it to, like, the 60s to the 90s, like, people got bigger.
Yeah.
People got bigger. People were hitting homers like crazy.
Yeah.
So obviously, people, Babe Ruth hit 60 homers and 480 at-bats. Mark McGwire hit 60 homers and 480 at-bats.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like, how is he doing this? And how is Sammy Sosa hitting 65 homers and 450 at-bats?
Yeah.
Babe Ruth took 600 at-bats to do it. Are they cheating? Are they using steroids?
Yeah.
Every number can indicate to that. And, luckily now they have drug testing, so it kind of prevents players from further cheating and further, making the game. So I feel like it's a good thing to have that in play.
Yeah.
I feel like, it prevents people from cheating, and, it just makes it more fun to watch, knowing that people are playing fair.
Now, there's some people that say, hey, if they're going to do that, let them do it, and it ruins their body, but they're making the decision. Where do you stand on that?
I feel like...
Or does it take away from the pureness of the game?
I take away from the pureness of the game.
Yep.
But I feel like, when you look at attendance in the 90s during that steroid era, when McGwire and Sosa and Barry Bonds were hitting homers, more people were going to games.
Yeah,
baseball got really interesting. People wanted to see who was going to break Roger Maris's home run record, you know? And, at the same time, in that 1998 season, Mark McGwire was hitting 60 and Sosa was hitting 60. When 30 years later, only one person had ever hit 61 homers. And it just doesn't happen like that. How is it happening at the same time? You kind of put it together, and it's like, I feel like baseball kind of turned a blind eye to that, but I feel like it made it interesting. People wanted to see home runs. People wanted to see him hit 520-foot bombs, and people, and I feel like that kind of it enhanced the game. It kind of brought it back, especially after the strike from '94.
Yeah.
The attendance record went up and views went up, and people wanted to see what they were going to do next. I feel like it was a good thing in a way, but I feel like now that that's done, like it should just go back to being the pureness of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So let's switch back to now. So you're starting high school, so you're playing those three sports you said. What kind of made you stop playing basketball and football? What were the reasons there, or just didn't have the interest?
I kind of just lost interest.
Yep.
It's not that I was all right. I wasn't bad. I liked them. They were fun sports. I just liked baseball. I just didn't like. I didn't have. If there's no drive for it, you're not going to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have a drive to play football anymore. I never drive to play basketball anymore. It just wasn't there. But, so ultimately, I just was like, I just want to play baseball. That's all I want to do. And then I did it, and then I had fun with it.
So I see sometimes around campus wearing a Royals hat. Are you a KC fan or not?
I think that's North Carolina hat.
Is it North Carolina? Okay, North Carolina. Okay.
I do like the Tar Heels.
Same thing, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the Tar Heels. Especially, I was rooting for them in, the NCAA bracket. I wanted them to win.
Okay.
They're one of my. That was another team brought up in the household that we just kind of love watching. We love watching James McAdoo, and we love watching the teams do good. And I think the Tar Heels were just our team, so that's who we'd always cheer for as well.
So I got one final snippet for you. Once again, it's a three-parter. So if you could dine with any athlete of your three favorite sports
ever.
Yeah, let's go ever. I don't care. That's fine. Let's go ever. So let's start with football. If you can dine with anybody.
Oh my god.
And if you could, let's try to switch it up from the ones you pick with your favorite athletes.
Okay. Football. Anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Honestly, I would like to talk to. I'd like to talk to Brett Favre.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna be honest with it, because I just to watch him play the game, to watch him play sports, he always had a smile, and he always enjoyed it. He had fun.
Yep.
Like he was fun to watch. You'd see him throw touchdowns, and then he'd run and he'd tackle the guy.
Yeah.
He'd pick him up and he'd throw him over his shoulder, and he'd take off his helmet. He's celebrating, he's smiling, he's having fun.
Yep.
I think he'd be the most interesting person to talk to about football. Especially because he wasn't that bad at it either. So.
No, not too bad, huh?
Not too bad, I don't think.
Okay, so basketball.
Basketball ever, I would say Will Chamberlain. I know I mentioned him earlier, but he was. That man was a freak of nature. I read in a book, I read a documentary on him one time that he was an all-state track runner at 7'1".
Yeah.
He sprinted, like he did the sprint, and he like at UCLA,
he did well at it.
And he did great.
Yeah.
He came in first. Like I think he was a first-class gold medalist his senior season. So I was like amazed at how athletic, and for a 7-foot man to do that, I think is just out of this world. I can't believe that, and I would love to talk to him. I'd be like staring up at him.
Oh, I know exactly. That's the thing.
It'd be cool to talk to him about like everything that he can do physically. I think that'd be fun.
Okay, so last one, baseball.
Baseball, I would talk to Ted Williams. I like Ted Williams because personally, I think he's the greatest hitter of all time, and I would love to sit there and just talk baseball with him, talk about hitting, talk about what it was like to, play on the Boston Red Sox or hit in Fenway, or to go up against the pitchers he did and to play in the era he did, or to be the last person to hit 400, what that's like, and I think that would be so much fun to just sit down and talk to him about that. Him or Tony Gwynn.
Okay.
So I think both of them at the same time would be cool.
Yeah.
So I think they're just tremendous hitters, and they would just be the most interesting to talk to.
Well, there you heard it here first. Thanks, Luke.
You're welcome.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too,
We'll catch you later.